Hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Academy. If you love inspiring stories, if you want to improve your English, and if you enjoy learning through real-life journeys, then you're in the perfect place. Today, I want to tell you the story of a young boy. A boy who was not born with superpowers. He was not the strongest. He was not the tallest. And he was definitely not the most confident. But one thing made him different. He never stopped believing in his dream. Today, millions of people know him as Spider-Man. Children wear his mask. Fans cheer for him around the world. His movies earn billions of dollars. People think he became successful overnight. But that's not true. Behind every smile, behind every action scene, behind every red and blue suit, there is a story full of hard work, pain, failures, and unbelievable determination. This is not just the story of a superhero. This is the story of a real person. A young boy named Tom Holland. His journey teaches us that dreams don't come true because of luck. They come true because someone refuses to give up. So don't skip this video. Because every minute of this journey has a lesson that might change the way you look at your own life. Now, close your eyes for a moment. And imagine a small boy living in Kingston-upon-Thames, England. No fancy lifestyle. No Hollywood connections. No guarantee of success. Just a child. With a dream bigger than himself. Tom Holland was born on June 1, 1996. His father, Dominic Holland, was a comedian and writer. His mother, Nicola Holland, worked as a photographer. Tom grew up with 3 younger brothers. Their house was always full of laughter, energy, and creativity. His parents encouraged their children to explore their talents. But nobody imagined that one day, one of those children would become one of the biggest movie stars in the world. As a child, Tom was extremely energetic. He couldn't sit still. He loved running, jumping, climbing, and trying new things. Many teachers thought he had too much energy. But that same energy would later become his greatest strength. Tom wasn't the best student in school. He faced many challenges. Sometimes he struggled to fit in. Sometimes he doubted himself. Like many children, he wondered whether he was good enough. Little did he know, life was quietly preparing him for something extraordinary. One day, everything started to change. Tom discovered dance. Not because he wanted to become famous. Not because he wanted money. Simply because he loved moving to music. Every step, every practice session, made him happier than the last. He spent countless hours learning new moves. While other children were playing video games, Tom was practicing again. And again. And again. People around him didn't always understand. Some even laughed. Some boys made fun of him because he danced. They believed dancing wasn't something boys should do. Those words hurt. They made him feel different. But Tom had a choice. He could quit. Or he could keep dancing. Thankfully, he chose the second option. That single decision changed his entire life. Because sometimes, the thing people laugh at today becomes the reason the world applauds you tomorrow. And Tom Holland was about to prove exactly that. Tom never imagined that those dance classes would open the first door to Hollywood. One day, a choreographer noticed something special. It wasn't just Tom's talent. It was his dedication. Every movement looked natural. Every performance felt alive. That choreographer encouraged him to audition for a famous stage musical. Its name was Billy Elliot the Musical. At that time, Thousands of talented children wanted the same opportunity. The competition was intense. Every audition room was filled with children who had trained for years. Some were better singers. Some were better dancers. Some had more experience. Tom was nervous. His heart was racing. But he gave everything he had. The judges saw potential. Not perfection. Potential. That is something many people forget. Success doesn't always begin with being the best. Sometimes it begins when someone believes you can become the best. Tom didn't get the biggest role immediately. He started with smaller performances. He watched. He learned. He improved every single day. Instead of complaining, he treated every rehearsal like a classroom. Every mistake became a lesson. Every correction made him stronger. Slowly, the directors started trusting him more. Then, the day finally arrived. Tom Holland became Billy Elliot. Standing under the bright stage lights, in front of hundreds of people, was both exciting and terrifying. One mistake, and everyone would notice. But Tom performed with confidence. Night after night. Week after week. His discipline impressed everyone around him. While the audience only saw 2 hours of performance, they never saw the thousands of hours of practice behind it. That experience changed Tom forever. He learned how to stay calm under pressure. He learned how to perform even when he felt tired. He learned that success is built long before people notice it. Years later, those lessons would help him survive one of the toughest audition processes in Hollywood. After Billy Elliot, Tom started receiving small acting opportunities. Nothing huge. No luxury lifestyle. No instant fame. Just small steps forward. In 2012, he appeared in the movie The Impossible. The film was based on the real-life Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004. Tom played the role of Lucas, a young boy fighting to survive after one of the biggest natural disasters in history. The role demanded real emotion. Fear. Pain. Hope. Tom didn't simply act. He made people believe. Even experienced actors were surprised by his performance. Critics praised him. Audiences remembered him. For the first time, Hollywood began asking, "Who is this young actor?" Awards followed. More importantly, respect followed. Tom was proving that he was much more than a dancer. He was becoming a complete performer. But even after receiving praise, life didn't suddenly become easy. Many auditions still ended with rejection. Many opportunities disappeared. Sometimes he came close, only to lose the role at the last moment. That hurts. Especially when you've worked for months. But Tom never allowed rejection to become his identity. He understood something powerful. Rejection is not the end of the journey. Sometimes, it's simply preparation for something much bigger. And without realizing it, that something bigger was already looking for him. Marvel Studios had begun searching for a new Spider-Man. Not just an actor, but someone who could truly become Peter Parker. Thousands of young actors from around the world dreamed about wearing that legendary suit. No one knew that a boy from Kingston upon Thames was about to change superhero history forever. Marvel's search for the next Spider-Man wasn't normal. It wasn't a simple audition. It wasn't just one meeting, or one camera test. It was one of the toughest casting processes in Hollywood. More than 1,000 young actors wanted the role. Each of them dreamed about becoming Peter Parker. Some had years of experience. Some were already famous. Some believed they were the perfect choice. Tom Holland believed in himself. But he also knew believing wasn't enough. He had to prove it. The first audition felt exciting. The second one felt harder. Then came another. And another. Every time he left the room, he wondered the same thing. Did I do enough? Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Nobody told him he had won. Nobody promised him anything. Imagine waking up every morning, checking your phone, waiting for one call that could change your entire life. That was Tom's reality. During the auditions, Marvel tested much more than acting. They wanted to know. Could this young actor be Peter Parker? Could he make people laugh? Could he make people cry? Could he perform dangerous action scenes? Could audiences believe that he was just a normal teenager who suddenly became a superhero? Tom knew his background in gymnastics and dance could help. So instead of talking about his abilities, he showed them. He jumped. He flipped. He climbed. He moved with speed and confidence. Many actors needed stunt doubles for simple movements. Tom could perform many of them himself. That immediately made him different. The casting directors noticed. They weren't just watching an actor. They were watching someone who already moved like Spider-Man. But one final challenge remained. Marvel wanted to see the chemistry between Tom Holland and the actors who might become his co-stars. One of those actors was Robert Downey Jr., the man who had already become the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Imagine being a young actor, standing in front of one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Most people would freeze. Most people would become nervous. Tom certainly felt the pressure. But the moment the cameras started rolling, something magical happened. The conversation felt natural. The jokes landed perfectly. The emotions felt real. It didn't look like two actors reading lines. It looked like Tony Stark meeting Peter Parker for the very first time. Even Robert Downey Jr. could see the spark. Marvel executives watched carefully. When the screen test ended, everyone in the room understood one thing. This young man had something special. Still, nothing was official. Tom went back home. He continued living his normal life. He waited. Every day felt longer than the last. Then, one unforgettable day, everything changed. Instead of receiving a phone call immediately, Tom noticed something unusual. Marvel had posted an announcement online. The new Spider-Man had been revealed. Excited, Tom rushed to check. There it was. His own face. His own name. Tom Holland. He couldn't believe it. For a few seconds, he simply stared at the screen. Then he shouted with excitement. He ran through the house. He told his family. His dream. The dream that had started in a small dance class years earlier had finally become reality. In that single moment, his entire life changed forever. Becoming Spider-Man was a dream. But keeping that dream alive was an even bigger challenge. The moment Marvel officially introduced Tom Holland as the new Spider-Man, the internet exploded. Millions of fans reacted within minutes. Some people were excited. Some were curious. But not everyone was happy. Many fans were still emotionally attached to the previous Spider-Man. Some believed nobody could replace them. Others said Tom looked too young. Some even predicted that he would fail before his first movie was released. Imagine reading thousands of comments from people who have never met you, saying that you are not good enough. For many young actors, that kind of pressure would be overwhelming. But Tom understood something important. He couldn't control people's opinions. He could only control his preparation. Instead of arguing with critics, he went back to work. Every single day. His training became more intense than ever before. Spider-Man wasn't just another movie character. He had to run, jump, swing, fight, land perfectly, and make every movement look effortless. That required incredible physical fitness. Tom spent hours inside the gym. Strength training, cardio, flexibility, balance, gymnastics, combat practice, wire training. Everything became part of his daily routine. Some days, his muscles were so sore that even walking felt difficult. But he kept showing up. Because he knew the audience would only see the final result. They would never see the pain behind it. Along with physical training, Tom also worked on Peter Parker's personality. He didn't want to copy previous versions. He wanted to create someone fresh. Someone awkward, funny, kind, intelligent, and completely believable as a teenager. He studied school life. He observed how teenagers talked, how they laughed, how they became nervous, how they made mistakes. Those tiny details helped bring Peter Parker to life. Then came one of the biggest moments of his career. His first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Captain America: Civil War. The role wasn't huge, but it was unforgettable. When Spider-Man entered the screen, fans immediately noticed something different. His excitement, his humor, his energy, his respect for Tony Stark. It all felt natural. The airport battle became one of the most talked about scenes in the movie. For only a few minutes, Tom Holland managed to convince millions of people that he truly belonged in the Marvel Universe. The same fans who had doubted him started changing their minds. Critics praised his performance. Audiences loved his youthful charm. Marvel knew they had made the right decision. But Tom didn't celebrate for long. Because an even bigger challenge was waiting. His very first solo Spider-Man movie. Now, the entire world would judge him. Not for a few scenes, but for an entire film. The pressure was greater than ever. And Tom knew this was only the beginning. Spider-Man: Homecoming was no longer just another Marvel movie. It was Tom Holland's biggest test. This time, he wasn't sharing the spotlight. He was carrying an entire superhero franchise on his shoulders. The expectations were enormous. Fans wanted action, comedy, emotion, and a Spider-Man who truly felt like Peter Parker. Tom knew he couldn't disappoint them. Before filming began, he trained harder than ever. Every jump had to look real. Every landing had to feel effortless. Every fight scene needed speed, precision, and confidence. Whenever it was safe to do so, Tom insisted on performing many of his own stunts. He loved pushing himself. But sometimes, that passion came with a price. During rehearsals, he suffered bruises, small injuries, muscle pain, and complete exhaustion. Yet every morning, he returned to the set with the same smile. Because this wasn't just another job. This was the dream he had chased since childhood. When Spider-Man: Homecoming was finally released, the response was incredible. Fans loved Tom's version of Peter Parker. He wasn't trying to be the coolest kid in school. He wasn't pretending to know everything. He was awkward, funny, curious, sometimes nervous, sometimes clumsy. Exactly like a real teenager. That honesty made people connect with him. The movie became a massive success around the world. For Tom, it wasn't just a box office victory. It was proof that millions of people had accepted him as Spider-Man. But success brought new challenges. Fame changed his daily life. People recognized him everywhere. At airports, restaurants, shopping malls, even during simple walks. Privacy slowly disappeared. Every interview became news. Every photo went viral. Every word was analyzed on social media. Living a normal life became almost impossible. Tom admitted that sudden fame wasn't always easy. There were days when he missed being an ordinary young man. Days when he wished he could leave home without cameras following him. But despite everything, he never forgot where he came from. He stayed close to his family. He stayed grateful. He continued working with the same determination that had brought him to Marvel. Soon, another opportunity arrived. One that would take Spider-Man into Marvel's biggest adventure ever. An adventure involving almost every superhero fans had ever loved. The movie was called Avengers: Infinity War. Tom was about to stand beside legends. Not as a fan, but as one of them. Avengers: Infinity War was unlike anything Tom Holland had experienced before. This wasn't just another superhero movie. It was one of the biggest film projects in Hollywood history. Actors that Tom had admired for years were now standing beside him. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, and many more. For a moment, it felt unreal. Tom often admitted that he was still a fan inside. Whenever he looked around the set, he couldn't believe he was working with the heroes he had once watched on a screen. But there was one problem. Tom Holland had a habit. He loved talking. And sometimes, he accidentally revealed secrets. Marvel Studios is famous for protecting its stories. Every scene, every character, every surprise is kept highly confidential. One spoiler can ruin years of hard work. Tom became known as the Spoiler King. Not because he wanted attention, but because he got excited. Sometimes he revealed small details during interviews. Sometimes he spoke a little too much. Marvel eventually stopped giving him complete scripts. Instead, he received only the scenes he absolutely needed. Even his co-stars joked about it. Fans loved these funny moments. They showed that behind the superhero was still the same cheerful young man. When Avengers: Infinity War finally reached theaters, the world went crazy. The emotional ending shocked millions. One of the most unforgettable moments came when Peter Parker slowly disappeared after Thanos snapped his fingers. Tom's final words, "I don't want to go," touched millions of hearts. The emotion in that scene felt painfully real. Many viewers cried. Years later, people still remember those few seconds. Interestingly, Tom later shared that the scene changed several times during filming. The directors wanted it to feel natural, not forced. Tom trusted their vision. And together, they created one of the most emotional scenes in Marvel history. After Infinity War, fans waited desperately for the next chapter. That chapter arrived as Avengers: Endgame. The movie became a global phenomenon, breaking records across the world. When Peter Parker returned to fight alongside every hero, the audience erupted with excitement. Movie theaters were filled with cheers, applause, and unforgettable memories. For Tom Holland, this wasn't just another successful film. It was proof that he had truly become Spider-Man in the hearts of millions. The boy who once danced because people laughed at him was now inspiring children across the world. But behind the success, Tom was quietly fighting another battle. The pressure of constant fame. The responsibility of carrying one of the biggest superheroes ever created. And the challenge of protecting his own mental peace. Those were battles that no superhero suit could solve. After the unbelievable success of Avengers: Endgame, Tom Holland became one of the most recognized young actors in the world. Wherever he went, fans surrounded him. Children smiled when they saw him. Parents thanked him for bringing Spider-Man to a new generation. But fame has two sides. People usually see the red carpets, the interviews, the expensive suits, and the millions of followers. They don't see the pressure. They don't see the loneliness, or the responsibility that comes with becoming a global icon. Tom once admitted that social media sometimes affected his mental health. Every day, thousands of people shared opinions about him. Some praised him. Some criticized him. Some judged every little mistake. No matter how successful someone becomes, negative words can still hurt. Instead of pretending to be perfect, Tom made an honest decision. He took breaks from social media. He chose peace over endless scrolling. He wanted to protect his mental health. That decision inspired millions of fans. Because it reminded everyone that even superheroes need rest. Even superheroes need to protect their minds. Around the same time, Tom continued exploring new roles. He didn't want people to remember him as only Spider-Man. He challenged himself with completely different characters. In movies like Cherry, he played a young man struggling with addiction and trauma. The role was emotionally exhausting. It required months of preparation. Fans were surprised by how different he looked. How different he sounded. How deeply he disappeared into the character. Then came Uncharted. Another action-packed adventure. Once again, Tom proved he could entertain audiences outside the Marvel Universe. His career was growing. His confidence was growing. But one chapter of his life became just as popular as his movies. His friendship. And later relationship with Zendaya. The two first met while working together on Spider-Man. At first, they were simply co-stars. Then close friends. Over time, people noticed their incredible chemistry. Fans began wondering, could they be more than friends? For years, Tom and Zendaya kept their private lives away from unnecessary attention. They understood something very important. Not everything needs to be shared with the world. Some memories are more valuable when they remain personal. That maturity earned them even more respect. While millions of people followed every headline, Tom continued focusing on what mattered most. His family. His friends. His work. And becoming a better person every single year. Success had changed his life. But it hadn't changed his values. That is one of the biggest reasons people admire Tom Holland. Not just because he plays a superhero, but because he tries to remain a good human being. Even after achieving worldwide fame. And just when many fans thought they had already seen the greatest Spider-Man adventure, Marvel surprised the entire world once again. In 2021, something happened that many Marvel fans thought was impossible. 3 generations of Spider-Man came together on the same screen. Spider-Man: No Way Home wasn't just another superhero movie. It became a celebration of Spider-Man's entire legacy. When the movie was announced, Marvel revealed very little. Rumors spread everywhere. Fans created thousands of theories. Every day, the internet was filled with new leaks. Some people claimed they knew the full story. Others said they had secret information. But Tom Holland stayed surprisingly quiet. After accidentally revealing spoilers in the past, he had learned an important lesson. Sometimes silence is the best surprise. When Spider-Man: No Way Home finally arrived, the reaction was unbelievable. Movie theaters around the world exploded with excitement. People laughed. People cried. People cheered. For many fans, it became one of the greatest superhero experiences ever created. The emotional ending also changed Peter Parker forever. For the first time, he truly understood that being a hero always comes with sacrifice. Sometimes, saving the world means losing the people you love the most. That final decision made Peter Parker stronger, but also lonelier than ever before. Tom Holland's performance received praise from both critics and audiences. Many people believed this was his best performance as Spider-Man. He had grown, not only as an actor, but also as a storyteller. The young boy who once entered Marvel full of excitement had now become one of the franchise's biggest stars. After the success of No Way Home, fans had one question: what's next for Spider-Man? For a while, nobody knew the answer. Marvel remained silent. Tom Holland focused on other projects. Rumors continued to spread across social media. Some sounded exciting. Others were completely false. Then, official updates finally started appearing. Marvel Studios confirmed that Tom Holland would return as Peter Parker. The next chapter would be called Spider-Man: Brand New Day. The title itself created enormous excitement. It suggested that Peter Parker was beginning a completely new chapter of his life. A life where very few people remembered who he really was. Marvel has shared only limited official information so far. The studio has kept most story details secret. That means many videos and posts online claiming to reveal the full plot are simply speculation. No one outside the filmmakers knows the complete story. And that mystery is exactly what makes fans even more excited. One thing is certain: Tom Holland's journey as Spider-Man is not over. The mask is still waiting. A new adventure is still ahead. And millions of fans around the world are ready to swing into that journey with him once again. But before we look toward the future, let's stop for one moment and remember where this incredible journey truly began. A small boy, a dance class, a dream, and a decision never to give up. When people hear the name Tom Holland, they usually think about Spider-Man. The suit, the action, the fame, the success. But if we remove all of those things, what remains? A young man who refused to stop learning. That is the real reason behind his success. Tom's journey teaches us something far more powerful than becoming famous. It teaches us that every great achievement begins with very small steps. A dance class, a difficult audition, a rejection, a second chance, a little more practice, a little more patience. Those tiny moments created one extraordinary life. Many people believe successful people are fearless. But Tom himself has admitted that he often feels nervous before big performances. The difference is, he doesn't let fear decide his future. He moves forward anyway. That is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking the next step, even when fear is standing beside you. Another lesson we can learn from Tom is the importance of staying humble. Even after becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars, he continued thanking his parents, his teachers, his friends, his fans. He never claimed that success belonged only to him. He understood that every person who supported him helped build the life he has today. That attitude is rare. And perhaps That is why people admire him even outside the Marvel Universe. Tom also reminds us that failure is never permanent. Imagine if he had quit dancing because classmates laughed at him. Imagine if he had stopped auditioning after being rejected. Imagine if he had believed the people who said, "You can't do this." The world would never have known his name. Sometimes life changes because we continue for one more day, one more week, one more year. Dreams don't usually arrive overnight. They grow quietly, hidden behind discipline, hidden behind sacrifice, hidden behind thousands of ordinary days that nobody notices. Tom Holland's story proves that success is rarely a miracle. It is usually a habit. A habit of showing up. A habit of improving. A habit of believing. Today, millions of children wear a Spider-Man mask. They pretend to swing between buildings. They pretend to save the world. But perhaps the greatest lesson Spider-Man gives us isn't about superpowers. It's about responsibility, kindness, courage, and never giving up when life becomes difficult. Those lessons matter. Whether you're an actor, a student, a teacher, or someone chasing a dream that nobody else understands. So the next time you watch Tom Holland on your screen, don't just see Spider-Man. See the boy who kept dancing. The teenager who kept auditioning. The young actor who kept believing. Because without those moments, there would never have been a superhero. If this story inspired you, please support the English Academy by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs motivation, and subscribing for more inspiring English stories that help you improve both your English and your mindset. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Keep learning. Keep believing in yourself. And remember, every superhero's journey begins with one small step. See you in the next video. Goodbye.